Welcome to Dr. K Speaks. I'm Dr. K, and I'm here to help you to navigate through the many challenges in your life's journey so that you might ultimately become the highest version of yourself. Right now, I want to talk about how to change your life completely. That's right, how to change your life completely. Now, the quickest way to do it is to just work on your perspective. If you're the type of person that looks at things from a negative perspective, then you want to try to be more productive in how you view things. If you see life as the glass half empty, then you want to work on looking at life from a perspective of the glass being half full. Now, one of my favorite, most favorite ways of change is to work on rewiring your brain. Now, why is that one of my favorite ways of change? Because the brain is wired 95% for habit, and I've talked about this before in other videos. So that means that 95% of the time, we're focused on the same types of thoughts. 95% of the time, we're engaged in the same types of behaviors. 95% of the time, we're just operating from the same mindset. So it just makes sense that if you're going to change your life completely, then you would have to change how your brain is wired. And basically, the brain wiring is programs. That's right. We have a lot of programs in our head. Those programs are our habits. We're wired 95% for habit, and those habits are programs. So we're operating on programs. And guess what? The programs that you have in your head now are the ones that are creating the life that you're living right now. So if you want to change your life completely, then it makes sense to change your habits, to change how your brain is wired, to change your programs so that you can create different things in your life. Now, right now, I want to share a poem, and this poem is all about the journey of change and transformation. And this poem is written by a lady named Portia Nelson. I'm looking over here at my notes right now. And the name of the poem is entitled, There's a Hole in the Sidewalk. Some of you may have already heard it before. It has 5 chapters. Chapter 1, I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2, I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend that I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in this same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit. But my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5, I walk down another street. Now, how many times have you walked down the same street and fell in that same hole and had a difficult time getting out of it? And then I could be the first to raise my hand because I've had that experience in my life many times before. But now I'm more aware, so I don't do that. If I'm going to fall in a hole, it's going to be down a different street. And I didn't know that that hole was there, but I do try to pay attention before I'm even walking that way. Now, the poem really illustrates how we live our life because the brain is wired 95% for habit. So you're just going to be on automatic pilot, walking down that same street. So it's important at some point in time to become aware that if you keep having some of the same problems, some of the same challenges, it only makes sense to do something different. It only makes sense to change your habits. And to change your habits, you need to rewire your brain. Okay, so I've given some ways to rewire your brain before, but I'll give some more in this video. First of course, you need to be aware of your habits. Now, your habits can be behavioral, meaning that there are certain things that you do. And then the habits are habitual ways of thinking as well. So the habits that you would want to change behaviorally are the ones that get in the way of you accomplishing the things in life that you want to accomplish. It could be maybe you just want peace of mind. Maybe you want to feel calm. Maybe you want to feel happiness. Or maybe there is some material thing that you want to get. Or maybe you want to travel. Whatever the case may be, if you have a behavioral habit that's getting in the way of you accomplishing any of those things, then it will be important for you to identify what it is or what they are and change them. Now, the habitual ways of thinking that get in the way of you accomplishing what you want in life would be stinking thinking. I talk about stinking thinking a lot. Stinking thinking is that negativistic type of thinking that creates distress for you. It could be something like, I can't do this, or this always goes wrong, or I don't like it whenever that happens. Whatever the stinking thinking is, when you're focused on that, you're not focused on whatever this challenge is that you need to be moving beyond. It's really important that when the proverbial milk spills on the floor, you got to wipe it up. There's no need in looking at the milk saying that milk fell on the floor. Dang, why is that milk there? And it splashed over here and it splashed over there. Get the milk up so that you can keep it moving. So that's something that's really, really important to do when you notice that you have stinking thinking. Don't allow yourself to focus on the stinking thinking. You have to train your brain. You have to rewire your brain to focus on more productive thoughts. You have to train your brain to see things differently. So, exercise. Write down the habits that you want to change after you've identified them, of course. Whether they're ways of being or whether they're ways of thinking. Write down the habits that you want to change. And then right across from them, write down the new replacement habit, that habit that you want to change it to. Because remember, 95% of the time, you're going to be operating from habits anyway. So it would behoove you to rewire your brain, to program your brain so that those habits that you're operating from 95% of the time are the habits that are going to take your life where you want it to go. So again, you write down your habits, whether they are behavioral habits or whether they are habitual ways of thinking that get in the way of what you want, and then right across from it, you write down your desired replacement habit. And then look at your list on a regular basis, at least twice a day. So if you write them down on a piece of paper, then maybe you want to take a picture of it with your phone, because I know you take your cell phone with you everywhere that you go, because you want to expose yourself to not only the behavioral habits that you're trying to change, but you want to have in your mind what it is that you're supposed to be doing instead of the negative behavioral habits. So here's how it'll work. When you catch yourself engaging in your negative behavioral habit or negative way of thinking about something, then it's going to be important for you to consciously make yourself do this new behavioral habit that you've written down that you're going to do, or make yourself focus on this new way of thinking that you've already written down that you said you were going to start thinking like. And you have to consciously make yourself do it, because you're going to operate from habits, period. So the habits are just going to slide in real easy because it's like their subconscious is just going to happen. But then you have to be conscious. You have to be aware so that you can recognize when those habits come out so that you could do your replacement habit. So that's why you want to really kind of study what these habits are that you're trying to change. So when they happen, bam, you can like be aware like Johnny on the spot and handle your business and start engaging in your new replacement habit. It's not a microwave situation to rewire your brain. It's not just going to happen overnight. You know, the Rome wasn't built in a day. And anything worth having is worth working for. So if you want to change your life completely, then remember that you're going to operate from 95% habit. And the habits that you have now has created the life that you're living now. If you want your life to change completely, then of course you got to do something different. You have to think in different ways, because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So I want to encourage you to start today and work on rewiring your brain one step at a time so that you can change your life completely. Or maybe you don't need a complete overhaul. Maybe you just need to tweak some things. Whatever it is that you need to do, then just go ahead and get started today. And I do want to say that I'm launching my book in the spring of this year, 2022, and my book has a template and it has a workbook that comes along with it as well. But the book is a template for how to rewire your brain. The name of my book is called I Rewired My Brain, My Journey to Freedom. And the name of the workbook is called I'm Rewiring My Brain, because the workbook is for you to complete all of the different exercises so that you can step by step rewire your brain. The rewiring your brain process is easier when you use resources, when you have a guide, just like anything else is. Otherwise, you're kind of shooting in the dark, finding out about that strategy, finding out about that one over there, and finding out about that one. But when it's laid out like it is in my book, then that would be an easier, smoother way for you to approach rewiring your brain. So again, the book will be available spring of 2022, and it's called I Rewired My Brain, My Journey to Freedom. And the workbook is called I'm Rewiring My Brain, My Journey to Freedom. So once again, I want to encourage you to get started today with rewiring your brain. You can do this. You can change your life completely. And if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and remember, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, subscribe to my channel so that you can stay up to date on all the videos that I post about how to become the highest version of yourself. Thank you for listening.